Hello, Real Life Church family. This is Pastor Dan, and we're going to be talking this weekend about the gospel. In other words, the message that we proclaim here, and it's all about God's grace. I mean, if you hang out at Real Life Church for any length of time, you're going to hear about the grace of God. We have a slogan that says Real Life Church is a place where grace makes it safe to be real. I mean, Paul talks about that in Romans 1:16. He says it's the power of the gospel that changes everything. And that power is God's grace. But so many people just look at grace as the power of God to get us to the cross. But we have to see that our message, the gospel, is also about the power of God's grace that takes us through the cross and helps us to live when we understand what Jesus accomplished for us. Let me illustrate that for you this morning. I have a container of bleach and I have a pitcher of water and a glass of water. I put some bleach in this little bowl right here and an eyedropper so we can understand this point. You know, it might seem crazy to you, but there's an element of bleach that goes in our drinking water. We chlorinate it so it's safe to drink. In fact, when I'm in the mountains and I'm camping out and I'm backpacking in the Rockies, I always can carry with me a small container of bleach. And when I find a water source and I'm not sure the purity of it, I'm able to take an eyedropper like this and I can put several tiny drops of chlorine or bleach into the water, and that makes it safe. But what happens if I continue to pour that bleach into the water? If I would add too much bleach into the water, it would no longer be safe, but it would become toxic. It would take what's good and what's pure and actually begin to destroy it. You see, that's what happens with grace. When we add our works to what God has done for us, then we begin to destroy the quality of the gift. When we look at self-righteousness or works righteousness, what we do is we actually nullify the sufficiency of the cross. Grace is everything. Grace is the message because grace comes from the love of God. Grace is what we live for. It's the power of the gospel. And in real life, it should set us apart. It is in everything that we do. It's in everything that we preach. It is the message that we cannot back down on. And so join us this weekend as we begin to look at our views and images of God. This is everything. We want to make sure that we offer the power of the gospel, that we make sure that what we say and what we live is about the grace of God, what He has given us. Paul in Ephesians chapter 2 says this, he says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. And that's not of yourself. It is the gift of God, not works, lest anyone should boast." You hear that? It is about the purity of what God has given to us. It's what makes the water clean. It's not about our works. It's about what God has done for us. So join us this weekend, either on Saturday night or on Sunday morning, as we celebrate God's grace. God bless you.